Hello everyone, and welcome back to the workshop. For this workshop project here, I want to make a simple bench seat. If you guys remember last year when I made the table for that's going to be in the cabin that's going to replace the tent, I used the same 3-inch type pine slab like this one here, and I milled these myself a couple years ago. So it's definitely plenty dry. For that future kitchen table for up there, that one there, I'm going to have just 6 regular chairs. I've been looking right now. When I find them, I'll know. But I wanted to make a bench that kind of matches that I can do 2 things with this. I can either set it off to the side of the table against the wall, because I know where the table is going to sit in the new cabin. Or if I want to, I could just take this out and put it out. That cabin is going to have a porch on it. It could just sit out on the porch. The first thing I'm going to do, this slab here is about 9 feet long. All I want the bench to be is 44 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that, and then I can kind of get a better idea of what I'm going to do. You can see here that this side is not cut square. It was just rough cut off with the chainsaw. So I'm going to just do pretty much the same thing on the other side. So this big chunk here is tapered like any tree would be, and this side here, which is roughly, we'll say about 11.5 to this point here. Over here now, it's only about 10 3/4, but we're going to want to make the face of the bench the square side and then adjust the back to make up for it, because nobody's going to see anything back there anyway. I have this piece of cherry here that I milled out of a curved piece of log a couple years ago. I'm going to have this for the back of the chair. So I'm going to put some 1.5-inch dowels in here to hold that. Eventually, we're going to have to do the bottom part first. But what I'm going to do is measure back here and then do the same over on this other side. So then my dowels will be in the same exact location before I put the back on. So I was just looking at this. I've got a 44-inch bottom. This is 39 inches, I think it was. About 39. I think, and you're not going to want the dowels to be right on the end. You're going to want them to be in a little bit. So I think I can get by with just 2 of them, and I won't need a 3rd one in the center. Well, now that I've got it marked out where I want to drill the hole, normally the back part of a chair or a bench will be 15 degrees, as well as the bottom legs, at least the ones on the back side. So now I'm just going to make a little template so I can kind of halfway follow it with my drill. So I'm just going to take and set my saw here at 15 degrees. And then I'm just going to take this and just kind of run my drill. I've got an 1.5-inch bit because I'm going to be using an 1.5-inch dowel here. And just kind of like, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. They just have to be the same on each side. And I can see here that my cordless is not going to have the power that I want to do this, so I'm going to switch it out with my bigger drill. Easier to start this with the little drill because the big one has so much power it about tears your hand off when you're holding on to this template. And once you get it started, you don't even really need the template anymore. So now I'm just marking out where I want these bottom legs to be. Alright, so now I'm all set up. This is the back, so these are going to go down at a 15-degree angle. These are going to go in straight. I'm just cutting these in half right now, just for rough cutting them. Later on we'll cut them to the exact length. Now these here are drilled out 1/8 inch bigger than this here because I want to be able to adjust this, and I want to be able to get fiberglass resin down around there to help hold this. And now I'm going to make a template that will hold these in place, and then later on we'll cut them off for the height that we want. When I make this template, I can actually kill two birds with one stone, because an average, like your chair at a kitchen table, is 17 inches to the part you sit. If they slope at an angle, it'll be about 16 in the back and 17 in the front. This is just square. So I'm going to be 17 inches up. I know my bottom is 9 3/4 inches wide. So I mark that. I can take my 15-degree template and mark that. And then, since I'm going up 17 inches will be my total, and I know that this thing here, the actual seat, is 2 3/4, I'll just minus that, go up 17 on both sides. Go ahead and mark that. Now I'm going to want to at least get this close to level this out. Looking at these, they really did drill pretty nice. I think this front one I'm not going to use any fiberglass. I don't even know if I'm going to use any in the back one, because I can put screws in here. This is underneath it, and I can fill that in with glue. So this front one for sure, I'm just going to glue it and screw it, and I think that's going to be just fine. Now I'll just line this up right here with the template, and then I'll put a screw in the other side. Now I'm just going to do the same thing here. Like I said before, I was going to use the fiberglass resin, and that is really good when you have a bigger volume to fill. But that drill bit did such a nice job, it's just not necessary. This one here, since it's in the back, I can run a screw this way and nobody will ever see it. I put a couple of temporary screws here just to hold this. I think since we know this is exactly the height I want it, I mean, I might have to adjust one a little bit by sanding once I put it on the ground. I'm going to take and use this plywood top as a guide, cut these two off, then I can remove the template, put my other screws in, and just leave this here to dry. Alright, well now I'm just going to do the same thing over on this side. Well, there's the general idea of it right there, just a simple bench. And this is just pretty much just sitting in there now. I want to pull this out because it'd be much easier to sand all this down with all that off of there. And again, like the table, I'm only going to sand some of it out. I want the chainsaw marks in it, all that. I just want it to be a real, it'll be nice and smooth once it gets varnished, but I want it to be real rough looking. With this opening right here, which is a little bit bigger, that's going to have to be done with fiberglass because, you know, the bottom you don't see, the top part here you will, so I'll probably fill that in so it's all nice and just one color. I guess I'll have to look at it and see. Maybe you would still see that dark in there and it'd be better just to do it in glue, but I'd have to be super careful because it's so hard to sand around that. So anyway, I'll figure that out. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll come in here and get this all sanded, stained, varnished, finished. Should look pretty cute when it gets done. We'll see you guys on the next video.